Hello, my name's Nikki and welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing a July bullet journal spread, and this is something that I'm very excited for because for me it is quite nostalgic. I asked you over on Instagram which theme you preferred the most, and the theme that won with the most votes was nature and camping. So I put this nice themed spread together for you, and honestly I had so much fun creating it, and I hope that you guys will also have fun watching me create it too, or if you're planning with me. This theme was very nostalgic because it brought back some memories of some of my oldest bullet journal spreads that I've done, perhaps from the year 2018 it must have been. I took inspiration mainly from the bullet journal spread I did last month for June, and also a piece of art that I did which was a dark forest. It was a watercolor painting and I loved it so much, so I took inspiration from that, but then it reminded me of a couple spreads that I did quite a while back. One of them was a dark forest bullet journal spread, and that one was in 2018. It was one of my first ones, and I think when I first started really getting into my art style. And then the other spread was a travel journal, and it was based around the idea of maps and exploration, so that one was quite interesting. And if you guys want to see them, look at them for inspiration, or perhaps see where I got my ideas from, or perhaps if you want to look at some other references, then I do have a bullet journal playlist on my channel, so you can check that out, and it has every single bullet journal I have ever created in there all ready for you to watch. Of course, since I would always normally use a poll feature on YouTube, and unfortunately YouTube has taken that feature away now, I am moving all of my questions and the choices to both the comment section of my videos, so you can comment which ideas you have or themes that you would really like to see me do, or perhaps if you have any preference in some that I may suggest. But also I tend to look through the comments throughout the month and pick out some of the most popular ideas or some of the best ideas, and I tend to do a lot of polls on my Instagram, which is Expressive Journal. All of my links are in the description down below, so you can check it out, you can be involved, and you can have your say. So I'd really appreciate if you can comment your ideas. Not only does it help boost my video and really get it out there to more people, but I also really want to hear your opinions and what you would like to see, because I create for you and it's something that I really enjoy to do. Plus, interacting with all my audience is something very special to me. Since I'm drawing a lot of fir trees and a lot of these Christmas type trees, I feel in my, I think it was the January bullet journal spread I did all the way back then for the dark forest theme, I really explained the technique there quite well, so if you want a more deeper in-depth explanation then you can look there. And for different elements such as the grass and different parts of shading, I look back to my June bullet journal for 2020 and took some ideas and inspiration from my techniques that I used there, just to bring everything together, mix all the different styles to try and create a very interesting theme with a lot of different techniques and just something intriguing with differences. I always like to do a very nice intro page to welcome in the month, and because it's very warm, it's summer, I thought camping would be a very good theme to do right now, and I decided to draw a view of some mountains and a little bit of a woods from within a tent. Usually when I have references to help with my drawing, I will link them in the description below so you can see where my inspiration has come from or any references that I have used for my drawings. This whole spread was incredibly fun to create, and mixing in all the different techniques was something very unusual, and as I always say, it's really fun to be able to look at all of my progression in art and see how my style has changed over time. To add a lot of detail, I'm using a collection of uni pen fine liners. I added some things on my Instagram to introduce you to a lot of the tools that I use for my bullet journal spreads, but basically it's a mix of black fine liner pens and a couple greys, all to do the shading and the different tones. Now, as I move on to creating the actual bullet journal spreads, I'm mainly referring to my bullet journal of last month because I absolutely loved the changes that I made, so I decided to do a month at a glance on the first double page spread. So here I have a massive calendar that goes across 2 pages with a nice big block for every single day of the month. Here I can write more detailed notes such as specific days that are coming up, any events, and I have more room to write about them and mark them. Plus, since I wanted to go for more of a minimalistic theme and I didn't really want to bombard all of these pages with really in-depth detailed drawings that I've been doing lately, I just drew a couple sprigs of different plants and a couple acorns in the top corner. Sometimes really simplistic things do go all the way, and it it can make such a difference when something's more simplistic rather than being too in your face and in depth. And I feel I've learnt that because I really took more of an artistic approach for my bullet journals, and it kind of got to the point where I was getting too stressed about drawing something really big and really impressive, when the whole point of a bullet journal, for me, it is an art outlet, but it's mainly supposed to be for organization and what's useful for me. So I think having that focus, really focusing on those ideas, has really made me improve my bullet journal technique. On the following double page spread, I have my goals and my habit tracker. I always like to set a few goals each month to complete. Setting goals for a set time frame or shorter time frame really helps you be able to achieve them and be more realistic with them. So I have the steps to take, and I can write down the outcomes, whether I completed it, whether I need to move it to the next month, all of those different kind of things if I failed it, and then I know where to improve or what I need to do the following month. Then this habit tracker, I basically have a block for every single day of the month, and it goes across 8 spaces because I'm tracking 8 different habits which are all listed down on this page. The idea is if I've done the thing, I'll put a cross in the box, and that's it. Following that, we're going to be going on to my schoolwork page because yes, I'm still at college and we're still getting set work. Plus, it's always good to make sure you stay on top of things. So I'm following on with my previous month's planning page, and I did mess up a little bit on this. I will admit, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, but it is okay. I'm just going to work with it. I shouldn't have gone through the first box with the lines across. That was just a little mistake. But the idea is I can write down the due date, the course it's from, and the task that I need to do. Once I've done it, I can highlight it or just cross it off the list. And I've separated everything into all the different weeks of the month, and then I have extra tasks at the bottom in a nice free space. Following that, I then have my revision planner, so I can write down any extra tasks that I would like to do to make sure I'm keeping on top of revision and actually going over and not forgetting the content, and going over old content as well for all of my 3 subjects that I'm doing, and I can write down freely what I need to do. On the following page, I then have a miniature calendar with all the days of the month listed there. The whole idea is that if there are any upcoming tests, any key dates, I can write them down on the planner if I'm setting myself some goals personally and it's not set by the college, then I can still write them down and just plan ahead, set myself those goals and visualize it, because I'm a very visual person, and I think being able to see where I am in the month and how close I am to the deadline or achieving the deadline, being able to see that really does help me personally. To fill in blank spaces, I went and drew a few sprigs of different little plants. These very dainty, delicate drawings, I feel, just add something in those empty spaces, but they're not too obtrusive. And of course, for the titles, I stamped them with generic stamps with ink. Then we'll be moving on to the final 2 pages, and this first page on the left is Nikki's mixtape. So basically I will make myself a little mixtape for the month and list down all of the music that I am either enjoying listening to or I want to listen to. That way I can think about my mood or think about fun things. I find music is a way that I can really relax. It's sort of like a language in itself for me, so I just put that mixtape down there and I can write down the music I like. It's a pretty basic, kind of cringe, but you know. Anyway, following on to the next page, I'm doing this closing piece, a nice more detailed drawing because I still love to use my bullet journal as an art form, and I drew a girl holding a map while looking deep into a forest. It is again inspired by that original dark forest bullet journal that I did, and also it was inspired by the watercolor painting that I did a couple of weeks ago that I absolutely love. The videos on my channel, and also I felt quite inspired by a YouTuber that I've been watching. Hopefully you guys can get a reference. I hid some sneaky little things in my drawing. Wink wonk. All is good, all is fun, and I've really been enjoying this. It was so fun to be able to put this together, and I actually went on Google Maps and used that as a natural reference for the little snippet of the map that you can see in the video here. One technique for the trees that I'm doing is that because I'm using 3 different tones, a black, a dark grey and a light grey, I'm doing the trees in the very background and the lightest grey, and the closer they are to the front, the darker the colour they are. That way it looks like the trees are fading off into the mist in the background, and that's a very useful technique. Closer it is to you, the thicker the lines and the darker the lines. If it's further away, use lighter colours and make it less dense. I drew a couple animals on the map, but please excuse the lazy excuses of animals. I had a lot of fun with it, but I'm not that good at drawing horses. I never had a horse girl phase, unfortunately. Whether that's unfortunate or fortunate is up to you to decide. But I added some details onto the sweater, just like a general knit pattern, something cozy so the person holding this map can be nice and warm. And for shading, I used a mix of different grey colours just to emphasize some of those little, the different parts of the sweater and the texture. And I also used a Tombow brush pan in a light grey colour to add a little bit of shading, such as the hand on the map and all that sort of stuff, just that nice shadow casted, and I think it really does make all the difference. I also used it to sort of age and weather the map as well, so it doesn't look all pristine, trying to make some of the corners look a little bit ruffled and used. In my opinion, it is always those little details that go all the way and make a piece of work go from 0 to 10 really quick, and you can tell so much story throughout all of these minute little details that all piece things together, which is quite beautiful. But here we are with the finished bullet journal. So we have the intro page to welcome the month of July. Following that, we then have my month at a glance, so I can note down everything happening at that month and be able to look at it all on one page and see everything together clearly. Following that, we have my goals, the steps to take and the outcome, and my habit tracker. And then we have my work tracker, so I can write down everything I need to do, when it's due, the course it's from, and all extra activities. Then I have revision to make sure I'm keeping on top of all my work and recalling old information so I don't forget. Good habits, guys. And then we have my mixtape and the finale exit page with my map of Sweden. And I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please give video a like. I use Unipen fine liners, black, dark grey, light grey, Tombow brush pen, and some normal ink stamps. If you enjoyed, please give video a like and subscribe to see more. I post every Tuesday, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and all other social media. Support me on Ko-Fi. Everything is linked in the description below. I will see you next week. Stay safe and be happy. Bye.